On a certain afternoon, I went to Daystar in order to get something from the café. There was something in the green room, and I was carrying my child at the time. I was aware that she was experiencing fear at this point, so we decided to stop taking her from that area. We had a babysitter who kept her at home with us. On the other hand, I was in a hurry to get something and I wanted to do it quickly. Due to the fact that it is the afternoon, I enter the green room, which I had not anticipated being occupied by anyone. And it's a terrible thing that I bring her along with me. When I go to get that package of food, Pete and his spouse stroll in. I am very surprised. And since my child was so terrified, her entire body went completely slack and she plunged beneath the table with a great deal of force. I seized her small body, snatched her up, and dashed inside the car as quickly as I could. In addition, I recall informing other members of my family about it, including some of the people I trusted the most. It was a horrific experience. I thought to myself, I'm not going to bring my child here. There have been allegations that Joni Lamb and her late husband Marcus Lamb covered up the alleged sexual abuse of their granddaughter by a member of their family. Joni Lamb has categorically refuted these allegations. A blogger was accused of inventing a narrative with the intention of destroying her family, and she referred to it as a lie. Continue to pay attention because there will be other disclosures. Hey everyone, and thank you for tuning into the show. A topic that has been making ripples across several media platforms is going to be the subject of our discussion today, and it is a significant one. Many people are left scratching their heads as a result of the charges, the drama that has occurred inside the family, and the severe accusations that have been made. Specifically, I am referring to the continuing drama that involves Joni Lamb, her son Jonathan Lamb, and Susie Lamb, who is Jonathan Lamb's wife. It has been a roller coaster ride, as you are aware if you have been following this process. There is a lot of stuff to unpack, so if you haven't already, fasten your seatbelt. Therefore, let us begin from the very beginning. Recently, Joni Lamb, who is also the co-founder of Daystar television network, responded to certain charges that were made by her son and daughter-in-law that were considered to be rather severe. Permit me to tell you that she did not hold back in any way. Within the context of an episode of her show, Joni Table Talk, she categorically refuted allegations that she and her late husband Marcus Lamb had concealed the allegations of sexual abuse committed against their granddaughter by a member of their family. A blogger was accused of inventing a narrative with the intention of destroying her family, and she referred to it as a lie. I would want to take a brief halt here for a while. Do you agree that these are serious allegations? There is the viewpoint of Jonathan and Susie Lamb, who assert that their daughter was subjected to abuse and that Joni and Marcus attempted to conceal the fact that their daughter was harmed. In contrast, Joni is adamantly disputing the allegations and claiming that they are all part of an effort to ruin her reputation. To what extent is the truth being told? In any case, that is the question that we are going to attempt to answer today. The allegations themselves should be the first topic of discussion. Jonathan and Susie Lamb claim that their daughter was subjected to physical and emotional abuse at the hands of a member of the Lamb family nicknamed Pete. They assert that they discovered Pete alone with their daughter when they were on vacation at a beach home in Miramar Beach, Florida, in the summer of 2021. The beach house was located in Florida. According to them, their daughter eventually disclosed that she had been subjected to sexual abuse. This is when things start to get complicated. Joni told Susie Lamb not to go to the police when she reported this to her, according to Susie Lamb's account. Joni, on the other hand, is said to have requested a one-on-one relationship with her grandchild. Following the conclusion of the meeting, it was stated that the youngster immediately ceased discussing the abuse. Because she was either unable or unwilling to communicate what had occurred, Jonathan and Susie claimed that their daughter became like a lockbox. On the other hand, Joni Lamb presents an entirely different narrative. Her contention is that the charges have been distorted and removed from their original context. As far as she is concerned, the incident that took place at the beach home was totally unintentional. During the time when her granddaughter was changing into her beach suit, she asserts that Pete was there in the room with her grandson and a newborn, staring out the window at the view of the city. Joni believes that Pete didn't even see anything since he had his back turned, despite the fact that she claims Jonathan came screaming up the stairs and accused Pete of being improper. There are two very different versions of what took place, thus we have two reports. On the one hand, Jonathan and Susie are claiming that this was a significant instance of abuse that was covered up. On the other side, Joni is claiming that everything was a misunderstanding and that her son and daughter-in-law are using this to malign both her and Daystar. At this point, let's discuss the legal aspects of the situation. Michael D. Anderson, the attorney for Daystar, has written a letter to the Roy's Report, the publication that publicized Jonathan and Susie's charges, requesting that they either withdraw or rectify their stories. In his argument, Anderson asserts that the comments stated in the articles are not just untrue but also devoid of any basis in reality or fact. The charges, according to him, are part of a smear campaign that was started by Jonathan and Susie, and he argues that the Roy's Report does not have any proof to back their claims other than the comments that the pair has made that are not supported by evidence. Nevertheless, the Roy's Report is not going to back down. In response, their attorney, Christine Jones, stated that they have provided Daystar with a substantial amount of opportunities to reply to the claims and that they have conducted themselves with the highest possible journalistic integrity. They are not going to make any changes to the stories themselves, and they are sticking by the reporting that they have done. From this point on, things start to become extremely interesting. In essence, the Roy's Report is stating that we have carried out all of our necessary research. Send us a lawsuit if that's what you want to do. In addition, Daystar is stating that they are not going to recant these remarks and that they are fully prepared to battle. Therefore, we are looking at the possibility of a judicial war here, which is never a good indication when it comes to addressing disagreements inside the family relationship. Let's go on to discussing Joni's reaction to all that has happened. During the episode of Joni Table Talk that she appeared on, she did not merely refute the claims. She took the initiative and attacked. She made the accusation that Jonathan and Susie had created a fake story by combining two discrete incidences into a single one. The first incident, according to her, took place in the year 2020, when her granddaughter was reportedly groped by a guy when she was attending his preschool. In her statement, Joni asserts that she and Susie went to the school to report the event and that there was no attempt to cover it up. But let me tell you something. It has been said by Jonathan and Susie that the event that occurred at the preschool is being utilized as a distraction from the alleged abuse that Pete committed at the beach house. The argument is that these are two distinct problems and that Joni is attempting to make things more complicated by bringing up the event that occurred at the preschool. During the time that Susie was at the beach house retreat, Joni specifically targeted her mental condition. She made the suggestion that Susie could have been paranoid, describing an event that took place at a grocery shop in which Susie apparently grew irritated because she believed a guy was gazing at her. Joni gave the impression that Susie's behavior during the vacation was peculiar, and she suggested that this may have played a role in how she made sense of what transpired with Pete. But Susie did not take that in a casual manner. She made her response in a tweet that has since been removed, stating that God continues to get the final laugh. Joni may choose to sit in this manner. As a result, what are our options? On one side, we have Joni Lamb, a famous player in the world of Christian media who has angrily denied any wrongdoing and accused her son and daughter-in-law of initiating a smear campaign. These accusations have been made by Joni Lamb. The opposite side of the argument is comprised of Jonathan and Susie Lamb, who are steadfast in their assertions and assert that the safety of their daughter is in jeopardy. And then there is the Roy's Report, which is caught in the center of this family conflict, and they are standing by their reporting while also getting ready for a possible court battle. It is a lot to take in, and to tell you the truth, it is difficult to choose who to believe. As for what I consider to be significant, here it is. The essence of this tale is on a little child, a youngster who may have been through something unpleasant and who needs to be heard and protected if they have experienced it. Regardless of whether or not the allegations are authentic, this serves as a timely reminder of how critical it is to treat allegations of abuse with the utmost seriousness and to handle them with caution. Attempting to portray myself as mentally sick and murmuring to myself is what they are doing. I am now interested in hearing from you. In light of everything that has transpired, what are your thoughts? What do you think about Joni Lamb's account of what happened? Instead, do you believe that there is more to the tale that is being concealed from us? Are we on the verge of witnessing yet another instance of a strong Christian leader exploiting their influence to dominate the narrative? On the other hand, is this a circumstance in which misconceptions have led to conflict that is not particularly necessary? A number of individuals are left with severe worries as a result of the revelations surrounding this incident, which have caused shockwaves to go across the Christian world. Joni Lamb is believed by some to be telling the truth, being steadfast in her belief, and acting in a manner that she considers to be in the best interest of her family and Daystar. Others are of the opinion that there is a more profound narrative, one that is not being disclosed in its whole. Allegations of cover-ups, financial mismanagement, intimidation, and unfettered authority are not things that should be taken lightly, particularly inside a ministry that asserts that it is serving God. Because of this, your opinion is important. On these matters, we need to have talks that are open and honest. Ministers who get financial support from the general people and assert that they are spreading the gospel ought to be held to the greatest possible standards of ethics. If the allegations that have been made against Daystar and its leadership are anything at all accurate, then we need to ask ourselves how we can assure accountability in Christian organizations. How are we going to safeguard those individuals who might not have the ability to speak up? One thing is still crystal obvious despite all that has happened. This goes beyond the internal conflict that exists inside a single family. The entirety of the Christian community should see this as a wake-up call. Scandals that occur inside religious organizations are frequently ignored, written off as attacks from the adversary, or pardoned in the name of grace. This is an unacceptable practice. However, grace does not mean that one should ignore wrongdoing. In James chapter 3 verse 1, the Bible tells us that people who are in positions of authority are held to a higher standard. In addition, it cautions us that there will be those who are dressed like sheep who will come to fool the herd, as stated in Matthew 7 verse 15. By allowing these concerns to go unaddressed, we will establish a precedent that is extremely risky. Corruption is made possible by silence. When those in positions of authority within a church abuse their power, whether it is financially, emotionally, or spiritually, it does harm to the faith of a great number of people. People leave the church feeling misled and filled with disillusionment. There are some people who completely disengage from God because they believe that He is responsible for the shortcomings of those who profess to represent Him. This is the reason why conversations like this are required, since the truth is important and accountability is not something that can be avoided. It is important to remember that this is not simply about one lady, one ministry, or one controversy at the end of the day. The issue at hand is making certain that Christian organizations are able to demonstrate the ideals that they assert to maintain. Any ministry that sincerely aspires to serve God and His people must place a high priority on being transparent, honest, and upright in its actions. Therefore, let's continue our conversation, shall we? Regarding this matter, what are your ideas and opinions? Are you of the opinion that Joni Lamb is being unfairly attacked, or do you believe that she has important issues that ought to be answered? Give me your feedback in the comments section or on social media. And before we come to a close, it is important to remember the wider picture. This is about ensuring that the gospel is not polluted by deceit, safeguarding those who are vulnerable, and hold those in positions of authority accountable for their actions. We would appreciate it if you would like, share, and subscribe to this debate if you found it to be thought-provoking. Together, let us raise awareness, engage in these difficult debates, and do all we can to stand up for the truth. Take care of each other and yourself at the same time. Up till the next time.